I honor those of you who are watching here on, if you're logging in live, then it is YouTube Live at Blooming Light at Blooming's Tribe. And it is, what's today? Oh, well, it's now Monday, November. I know I said it. November the 24th, 2025. It's approximately 1:34 a.m. Central Standard Time if you're logging in live. If you're watching this at a later date, I honor you for watching if you're a benevolent being. If you're new to my channel, please look at the description box. I have other links, plenty of videos to give you the gist of the lowdown. Visit the other platforms if you're interested in supporting. There's plenty links and information there. In terms of messaging, if you really want to message me, that would be the Facebook portal, and there should be a Facebook link somewhere in the bio section here. Yeah, somewhere in the description box. Okay. So this is a collective reading message for the honorable feminines that you have, you resonate with a lot of the readings that I have, at least in part, and you have been making the best of all situations, no matter how unjust, unbalanced, unfair, unwarranted things have been for you and your children. Not that you're perfect, but certainly good-hearted, salt of the earth, and you certainly, have not sought to, you don't seek out as a standard of life and a goal to be misleading. You don't seek to hurt. You don't seek to take advantage for taking advantage sake out of any kind of gluttony or insensitivity. You are the salt of the earth, okay? And making the best of situations. So you all resonate with the fact that you all have been in this whole organized, community organized harassment, which is organized gang stalking, okay, from various different people, where you lay your head, where your children lay their head. So this is possibly next door neighbors, complexes, things of that nature, relatives, exes, everyone in Texas and the US and across the waters, bitch. Okay, so um, insanity, or should I say out of sanity? Anyway, the whole thing, these people, it's, I don't even want to talk much about it. I'm just gonna stick to the reading. Okay, let's just do that. Let's just keep it the reading. Let's do that. So these are people that are cyber stalking you. They're not just physically stalking you, they're cyber stalking you. Chances are it's two people that are here are the two bitches. Okay. But so okay, I'm gonna behave. Okay. This is feminine. When y'all come on this video, because I'm really talking to y'all and any, benevolent beings that may see this. I know you shaking your head and kind of laughing at the same time, but I know you shaking your head for sure. Um, because it's like you be like, you never thought. Like, I think it's just this whole, I don't think you ever thought, even though you could be pretty intuitive and you have dealt with a lot possibly since childhood, but you possibly never thought that shit that shit went to that extent. Like, I think some of y'all are possibly like, whoa, because it be people that seemingly on the surface seem to be better off than you in life. So it's really troubling. It's really mind boggling. Okay. So you all are making the best of all the situations. Okay. And you're not going to let nobody keep you down. Did you hear me rephrase that? Because nobody's perfect. You're human and we all have thresholds, but the power is in you always, you and your team. Like, niggas, shit, now I'm a master, bitch. Good luck. Good luck. Weebles wobble, bitch. Weebles wobble. Anyway, um, so now you're, I'm joking, but you really have been making the best of situations. And you've been assaulted on every side, you and your children. And I know people think when I talk like this, y'all feminine are like in some, okay, oh, woe is me, but oh, the violent. Nah, y'all are actually the opposite. It's the other motherfuckers. That's the funny part about it. It's the other motherfuckers that when the rubber meets the road, they can't handle shit. You know what I'm saying? They can't deal with that kind of heat. You see what I'm saying? That be like, play me a, Crimea River, you know. But that's what they be trying to like imply about y'all. I think people could have even been clowning about like y'all telling y'all story and stuff with the double Dutch bus. But like, my corns hurt. I was singing this song yesterday. I was laughing because I'm like, well, he's having a really hard time. So I think that folks could have been clowning y'all's shit that they knew that they had hand in, that they pretend like they didn't. Okay, for some of you. Now, the beauty though is you breezing. I don't want to say breezing, but it's, boy, I'll tell you what, it ain't shit like motherfuckers thought this was gonna be. I can tell you that. Okay, and shit, you walking with your tilt, because shit, you're like, I don't give a fuck, because I ain't glued like these motherfuckers. First and foremost, now they finna find out, nigga. They finna find out, nigga. They finna find out. They finna find. So, because people be thinking that you are. Like, once you get to a level of attainment, I think that people think that you are glued because they are glued. So then they go, well, let's see if, if we use our connections and make a problem here. Let's see if they're as confident. Yes, they are, actually, because it don't matter. Once you start realizing that you're being tampered with, you have a whole new gate anyway, because you now know what you never knew for sure, which is that you were being fucked with the whole time. So it's no longer a personal insult to you that there's a failure or something doesn't go according to plan or something seems to come out of the woodworks, because you know that it didn't come out the woodworks. You know very well that it was the powers that be manipulating shit, so you don't feel shit. At least not the shit they want you to feel. Okay? Not to say that things don't bother you. You don't feel the shit they want you to feel because you now know this ain't a slack on your side. You now know that, no, this is manufactured, baby. This ain't got shit to do with none of this other shit that you're trying to make shit seem to be. Okay? But you all are like taking, you're taking it with stride, and you are in this Empress energy. Empress is always coming out here, and that's the indication of, not only maybe that you're a mother, but healing. It's also a healing energy, as well as a master, somebody that is holding the vibration and the frequency of all four of the queens. And you may fluctuate based on whatever is presenting. That's the whole point of being the Empress. Okay? Because you're not always Queen of Pentacles. You're fluctuating what is presenting in the now moment. Okay? So, this Empress energy that can make $1 out of 15 cents, that to turn a shoebox, make a shoebox seem wonderful, bitch. I've been there. Okay? Oh, to this day. Listen. I'm laughing because I know something. I know some information. I'll just say that. Okay. Um, so, you're doing what you gotta do. They tampered with everything. You're in transition. You're a single mother. You all are under assault daily. They have a schedule. It's a routine of when they're assaulting your kid, when they're assaulting you, blah, blah, blah. You know, um, the same old shenanigans. And you're like, okay, what am I gonna do? They stole, because these people, they bottom feeders. They bottom feeders, baby. Collective, whoever y'all are, if this stuff didn't happen to you on some level that I be sharing, if this is aspects of your story, they're bottom feeders. If they stole your disabled kid EBT card, they're bottom. Hey, people need to stop that. Stop. Just stop. Stop being sensitive. It's like, come on, man. What's worse, that I said it, or that somebody actually stole an EBT that they knew is to supply the food for a disabled person? Which one is worse? Okay. Anywho, so they did that. If y'all had jobs and was excelling at that, y'all know they can't have that, because boy, they little egos, that just ain't going. They need you to be, honey, they need you to be broke, bust, and disgusted, so they don't look like losers. Huh? Ain't that some shit? That's why I'm like, well, you're not a little winner. See, I have a whole new aspect about shit. I'm like, well, you ain't a winner then, bitch. That's how I feel inside. And this is applying to anybody. It ain't just specific folks. To me, it's like, if you gotta do all that, then you're not a winner. You're not a winner. You don't know how to win for your own life, win-win situations. Then you're not a winner. Anyway, so, because I'm like, wow, I don't think I ever really went that route, but that's another video. Even as a young woman, and I'm sitting here trying to think, because I got my own stories of shenanigans. Trust, believe. But I can't recall being like that. Even as a young and dumb, because we are, ignorant, young, even then. And I didn't cheat it, or should I say, I don't want to say cheated, because yeah, I did, but it just wasn't a pattern for me. I cheated in my young years, but I never, I didn't really get into the stuff that I'm seeing on a young side as a young woman. I never, anyway, so, y'all feminine have, like I said, been hit on every end intentionally. These people needed you. They all had different motives. Some just needed to be right, and the only way that they feel like they could have held that is by sabotaging you, because for you to become something and be more than what they said, then that makes them wrong. And they rather sabotage you than to just acknowledge, I had a misfire, a misjudge of character. It was a diamond in the rough. Somebody was a butterfly and caterpillar. Whatever the case may be. They rather do that than to just own the fact that it was a misjudgment, or they chose whatever. I don't get that, but that might be a little narcissism stuff, is why I can't get that. It's like, okay, you made a mistake. You made a choice, whether that's a friendship, a partnership, um, a lover, whatever. You made a choice. They thought something was better. They thought that whatever. And then they be mad sometimes because it's like, in retrospect, some stuff ends up playing out in a different way, the choice or the path in which they take. And then later down the road, then you're morphing into something else, and you were supposed to be just a loser, like everybody was word cursing you, and i.e. spelling over you, because that's what that is. I'm gonna help a whole lot of folk. That is spelling. You don't always have to have a cauldron, a chicken, a knife. Okay? That's spelling, baby. So they needed you to be in the narrative that they had already painted, and that they played a role in actually kind of manufacturing in the background the difficulties of your life. And as you continue to grow and morph and transform in spite of, that was a problem. Okay? Because you were supposed to be this fluke, flighty, inconsistent, unstable, you know, everything that they are and pretend to not be, because they got everybody based. So they needed to make you be it then, bitch. They was like, okay, well, they not it. Well, we gonna make them be it then, okay? We gonna manufacture it then. Since they're not it, we gonna fucking make it be. Behind the scenes. So that when they are having symptoms, like if you get a cold, at some point you're going to have some symptoms. It's going to show up, even if you're pretty strong and kind of, you know, put some dirt on it type of motherfucker. You know, at some point, there's going to be some manifestation of the fact that you got a cold, okay? And these people utilize the ignorance of this world, the lack of depth, because they didn't see or know what was happening behind the scene, what was creating or playing a role in creating, and equated it to you exactly what they wanted it to be equated to. You being fickle, you being unstable, you not having no sense of direction, you not having your priorities in check, you being into something dark, you being a whore, you, yeah, you being a crook. Ain't that some shit? Anyway, you, mm-hmm. They didn't show the world they were abusing you and your children. And abuse is far beyond verbal, physical, sexual, or emotional. Most people only reference those four main forms of abuse because that's the extent of their understanding. And that's not financial abuse, identity theft, dictatorship, misuse of knowledge, power, and resources, withholding. That's abuse. Because abuse is misuse, and that has an effect. Now, these people collectively have done these things to you. You've been rolling with the punches, doing what you can with what you have, all things being equal, the best you could with je ne sais quoi. You have your moments, you have emotions, you express yourself, you bleed red, but I tell you what, with flair and je ne sais quoi. So they came for your jobs, they came for your relationships, they sent honey pods, they attacking your health. They've been trying to poison y'all on a regular, any opportunity that presents, bitch. Yeah, via all of these services that the world offers, the Walmart shopper shit, and any opportunity that they can to put some substances they ain't got no business putting, opening bottles, hoping that you don't notice, so that you all will just drink or take something and not, so something could look like an accident. These people have really been on that shit, and they claim to be sound people in life. Some of these people go to church. Ain't that some shit? They go to church. I gotta sit on this. You know why I gotta sit on this, feminine? Because the world don't see that. They don't see this. They see these people going to church and cleaning the church and going to functions and funerals, and they see those aspects. They don't see them hiding in their apartment going to town on somebody disabled with spell work because they weak as fuck and they feel irrelevant. They don't see that. They see somebody talking about, yes, ma'am, yes, sir, praise God, God is good, holy, holy, Bible, Jesus. That's what these people see. They needed you to look like this angry, the world not knowing that they're basically terrorizing and antagonizing you and your kid behind the scene on purpose to make you go crazy, because you're not crazy. So they said they go manufacture it. That they gonna drive you nuts with constant noise. They gonna drive you nuts with playing with your technology. They go, this is what they said. With fucking with your kid and you happening to, clean their energy because they're weak fucks. That's just a waste. That's what they wanted. And when you had any kind of human reaction, unfortunately, the world bought it for a long time until now. They bought it collective, and they did. They did. Up until now. Now, many are raising their eyebrows and starting to question a lot of things that they didn't. And this is because you've been working really diligently at trying to balance, alchemize all that shit, but you Could be evolving past it. It could be that since you're seeing things a lot clearer, that you know what the strategies are, so you're redirecting things, and so that you can be in your true frequency versus what they're projecting, because it's heavy projection. So what are people witnessing, feminine? They see, these injustices. They see that, okay, there's definitely, they're going through a hard time, but you keep going, and you're making the best of things. And many of you, just to get to the point of the reading, I know I've kind of went all over the place, but I'll get there because it's kind of tying in. Feminines, you all could have, you're entrepreneurial, you always have been. Many of you are like myself, since when I was even younger, like my late 20s, early 30s. I started a couple of businesses, and they didn't stick, but I was just trying to try something because it's like I had jobs, but I was looking for passive income. It was points where I was working at a hospital, I was a dental assistant, different things, and I was trying to find supplemental, because I had a car, I had my son, I had a lot, and still single mother. And so I had a typical regular job, okay, but I was like, so I cleaned dental labs on the side. I did that for a while in Redlands, California. um um Anybody, who needed it, I was trying to, whatever. I sold Herbalife, bitch, and nigga, I did the Herbalife is, and just all entrepreneurial, looking for passive income to supplement, okay. And then sell shit, that's another thing. In Vegas, shit, I did some old school shit, and I was surprised they let me do it. But it was during the summer, and I was like, I remember this. I was like, let's be like the old school. Like, I went back in my thinking, and I was like, buy some candy or some ice cream, popsicles, some pizza, bitch, or something. Like, I was getting very creative, and I made some signs. And I remember asking, I made some signs, and I asked the management of where me and my son was, if I could put, because they had like an area at that location where you could put like advertisement and stuff. So, you know, I asked if I could put some flyers there, if that was okay, and blah, blah, blah. And then I put some on cars, I put some on doors. See, people don't see, I'm going this long route on purpose. I know. Because people, ASS, they assume a lot based on very little information. Okay. And so, shockingly, now here's where I'm going with this. Shockingly, when I did that, we were successful. I involved Darrell with it. And I remember the opening the window. Because this window didn't have like a screen. I don't know why they didn't have screens on this window, but um, and it was on the first floor. But so they could come, and it was a price. Like, they can look at the thing on the door. I remember they can look at it, and it had like what we had for the day, and the prices, and the kids would come, be like, you start seeing it. They started coming. They was like, oh shoot, 50 cent and 25 cent, um, popsicles and stuff in the summer. And then, like, on certain days, I would go and get pizza, because there was a 7-Eleven across from that apartment. And sometimes I would have earned like free pizza because of however much I spent. And so, see how I was trying to get creative? So I would go get, on certain days, I would get some of the pizza with the points I got from the 7-Eleven. When I get like, yeah, I got like a bunch of points for pizza. And then on certain days, I was like, oh, today's special is a hot slice of pizza, and you can choose it, and I'll put it in the microwave. Like, they got to watch all of that, right? Why am I saying that? Entrepreneurial, making the best of situations, doing what you can with what's at your immediate disposal while you're working on a better way, instead of just sitting there going, oh, and instead of doing what I am very much capable of doing and what I could have been capable of doing then. What many accused me of. Yeah. So, but I didn't. At that point, by the time I got to that phase, I was already in the energy or the phase of I wanted to do better for myself, and I didn't want to put myself in harm's way, and as a result, my son in harm's way by being fast and loose. Okay? Not that I'm judging that, but I had already started getting in the vein, okay, of, I don't know, like, you fuck around and get caught up, and then you're dealing with a crazy, your energy get discombobulated. So I wasn't even on that. And even under desperate circumstances, that was not my go-to, though I was accused of that. Now, fast forward, feminine. You could have been very similar in that respect. You do what you have to do, and you try to be integral and keeping it honorable as you can. And that's that. And with technology now, you have stuff like Facebook Marketplace, and you have Etsy, and you have all of these portals for people, Posh or some other shit. Like, they have platforms for people to sell their junk basically now. Okay? And this is what you do. You start simplifying your life when you've been under attack and you're in transition. You do a review. You start looking through non-essentials, stuff that you're not using, that you damn well ain't gonna use. Has been sitting right there this whole time for however long. And you go there and just see what happens. If it don't work, it don't work. But guess what? You proactive. You did something. You didn't. You see that? You go, okay. Yes, I'm looking for a greater solution in the meantime. Because life is happening. It's not on pause until you figure shit out. It's shit happening. So, feminine. And I'm still laughing because I'm like, well, that these people stalking you social media and physically, that they are needing you, maybe because some people are trying to be initiated into cults. Some people have been offered money by famous people. Some, are, been offered money by your relatives. Some have been offered money by your exes. Some have been offered shit by your people's previous landlords. Like, this thing is crazy. To basically be your terrorist and jailer, to make sure that you're impoverished and that you feel restricted, but you don't. The more they attempt to do it for whatever reason, the more creativity seems to pop out of nowhere. The more they go, okay, we gonna do this, and then we gonna do that, and then we gonna do this and that, and then we gonna do this, and then we gonna do that, and then we gonna do this and that, because they need you to look like a loser. They need you to look like you're sick. They want to poison you so you can look weak, so it can look like you're not able to take. I mean, to me, Ray Charles, Stevie Wonder, because they need you and your children's health to look like it's declining. So what better way to do it than to poison a motherfucker? To make them seem like they're just weak, lean, and sick, and we not. It's no, people are poisoning, bitch. Hmm. So they need you angry and upset. So they love when you get on social media, which you all know I respect the path where, reactive abuse is a natural thing. But they love that because then that's still the narrative they need. They're just this angry, unhinged, and stressed out, hormonal, menopausal. Because, see, they're going to try to roll with whatever season you're in. Once you get up that age, that's something they'll put on the list. Then they'll say your hormones. And they know that the world is just goofy enough to just buy it. Because they don't want to believe that people actually abuse people in private. So it's more comfortable just to believe that, you're just hormonal. You're just stressed. You're just bitter. They're bitter. This is why they're investing in a shit ton of spells. Isn't that funny? You're bitter. But they're the ones investing every day for hours. But you're bitter. So, collective, you could have sold one item. Let me get to the finishing of this. 37 minutes in. You sold an item, and this took the karmic land, instead of candy land, it took karmic land into you didn't even sell nothing great. So now I'm laughing because it ain't like you sold a car. You sold one thing. And for some of you feminine, some of them was playing with you on the marketplace. And you already knew that. Because that's what these people have been doing. Some of them wanted to get you into haggling and, see if they can make you, beg for money. And, they really wanted you to get into that vein. And y'all didn't do that. Y'all like, I'm listing what I'm listing, and it is what it is. For the shit that I'm willing to negotiate for, I'll put it. For the shit that I'm not, and that is what it is. But they wanted, you all were messaged by some of these people, even on that. And you knew it. Ain't that some shit? You knew it. They really wanted to, you don't care. You just don't care though. And you sold an item, possibly feminine. Here, check this out. It could have been, y'all could have sold something for $50 or less. So that ain't even no money nowadays. You follow me? That ain't no money. Not nowadays. $50 or less. And it just served for you to go get some incidentals. It served for you to get a couple little in between things, whether that was y'all needed some dishwashing soap, to replace the items in which they poisoned from. from when, you know. So this is what they did. This upset Karmics, okay, and possibly their benefactors, seeing that you sold an item, because that implies, I don't know why that's a big deal, but it implies that, you know, you're in a, I guess you're in a positive mindset, or you're taking leadership over your life, or I don't know why they put such emphasis on it. It was $50 or less. Now, if you had sold a car, even though it's still stupid, I could understand a little bit where they would be like, okay, they sold a car on Facebook. They that was $1,000+ they done made. Okay, but $50 or less. These people don't want you to have $50 or less to take care of you and your children, because then they can't get you all what, committed somewhere, so they don't want you to have $50 or less. They, honey, this made these people upset. And here's what they did. They saw it, and then they strategized to see who can either give them some money so that they can go offer somebody something if they can't do it themselves, to offer somebody to block your Facebook marketplace if that's what you're using. So in other words, they it's they took that opportunity to figure out a way to go ask somebody for some money. They may not, I don't know if they told the people that that's what the money was for or not. You know, if it was people that's involved, then maybe they did. But they asked somebody for some money. And with that money, it was either used to pay practitioners or to get the things that they needed, one or the other, or to pay somebody to come help them, to block your Facebook marketplace, to block you from making any other money online. That's what they did. And they did that possibly in real time, depending on whenever you see this. Whenever you see it, they did it today, the day that you see it. Okay? The day before, that's when they did it. Okay? Because that's how badly they need you to look like you're a loser. That's how bad they're trying to prove that they're powerful. They're trying to prove, I don't know what the fuck. That could be how badly they're trying to prove to their benefactor, you know, that they're trying to convince that shit is working. So that's what they did. Okay. Now, what else they did, because as you all just kind of, you know, you got your cash, you went and did a couple of things, you taking care of your kids, your life, your cats, your dog, and you continue on to post other things, because again, this is what you do in life. This is adulting it. People want to talk about adulting it. People wanted to claim that these honorable feminines was gold diggers, that they always got their hand out, that they codependent, that they this and 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 this. The main ones who always got their hands hounded out, talking mad shit. But when y'all take matters into your own hand and say fuck it. Okay, nobody don't want to support, fuck it. I've been doing this for some while now. Fuck it. I'm gonna be all right. Like Martin said, I'm gonna be all right. Huh? I'm gonna be all right. 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 I am all light. I am all light. I am all light. Raku. So after they did, went and paid, got some support to get somebody, to have your shit blocked or something like that, to try to have it blocked or where you can't, something like that. Then they commence because again, you all are not paying shit attention, or you're addressing what you have to do behind the scene, and you're just keeping it forward because you got shit, you got a to-do list, and you don't really have a lot of time to be playing fighting games and measuring dicks, to see who's the baddest, because you don't care, you ain't trying to prove shit because you don't need to. That's them. So then they do what they've been doing, which is they have a series of how often they're doing spells on your children to get to you. It's one of the primary things they'll do to you in this life. They'll use the closest things to you to try to assault you. They'll do division spells, chaos, conflict, you know, all any and everything they possibly can. These are bottom feeder types of people. They are. Because this is, once again, it's all about making you look like you're a bad parent, making you look like you can't handle being a parent, making you look like what's true about them. They're shitty parents. And it's evident that they are, with the path that they've taken to be a part of this kind of shit. But in secret. So it's to make you like a shitty parent, to make you look like it's just out of control, because that's their energy, out of control. So what do? Children are susceptible and vulnerable. That's why I said I wasn't impressed with these people. Not because I thought they needed to try harder or do a bigger spell. I'm not impressed because it's an easy thing to do, spell work on an energy and a being that's susceptible. That ain't power to me. To me, that's basic. And it will always be. I'm going to make these jokes forever. I'm going to always do it. Equating a big ass, Humpty Dumpty ass senior in high school squawking about like an ostrich compared to a fourth grader, a little puny fourth grader. And he played a basketball game with the 4-year old one on one. The 4-year old gave him a run for his money, but he still beat the 4-year old because essentially he's stronger. He's bigger, he's stronger, he has more resilience, he has more. I mean, it's a no-brainer here. But that's like that big ass 17-year-old Humpty Dumpty ass motherfucker, you know, squawking around when he win the game, the basketball game with the 4-year-old. Like he the shit. Like he really just did some powerful shit. It's ludicrous when you picture it. And if you were to see it, y'all be looking at him like he crazy. Like, nigga, what you cheesing for, nigga? What you cheesing? You won a basketball game with a 4-year-old with your fat ass. What you cheesing for? You beat a 4-year-old. That's what these people are to me as it pertains to what they do to disabled people. That's what I'm like, what you smiling for? Your embarrassment. What you smiling for? It's weak. Ooh, so they can do spells on susceptible populations. Wow, that's some powerful shit. Children are susceptible. Children, disabled, elderly, um, people who are, already um, like sick or compromised already. That's not strength to me. That's why I said that's why. That's why. That's not strength. That's not power. That's opportunist. Look. Let's say there's a dude that's 6'4", 250 pounds, muscle bound. And let's say he's got an ego and attitude that's bigger than his body. And, you know, let's say he's used to wielding that his size around, intimidating people with it. Okay. Maybe he even do the mad dog scary face. Okay. And maybe that works because 6'4", 200 and, 50 pounds, muscle bound. Yeah, that's, especially if he's got the mad doggy look and stuff, that's possibly physically intimidating to most. And so that energy may have a tendency to always try to punk and intimidate people less than his size. I guarantee you he ain't going to do it somebody his weight. Guarantee it. It's a guarantee. It's going to be a whole nother vibe. I guarantee you he ain't going to have the same exact approach as he would somebody that he thought it was a surefire win. And that's how cowards roll. They quack about arrogantly when they, look for people that they feel like they can have an advantage over, but they can't stand eye to eye and toe to toe with nobody. They wait in a weight class. It's another vibe. Mm-hmm. And they've been doing that kind of shit on the collective to get to the collective. This has also been a part of the strategy of exhaustion and making you seem some kind of way, blah, 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 blah. And that's also what they did this very same day. They paid somebody to help them or to do a ritual on your platform where you sold something for $50 or less because they just can't handle the fact that, yeah, no, we not hoeing, honey. No qualms to the whole life if you're an integral hoe. And hopefully you got your get up together. It's ill advised in my humble opinion, but to each his own. Life I've lived taught me that. Okay, that's just my personal life. It's like, I ain't judging it because you know what I'm saying? It's people that out here acting like they all super clean and they not anyway, so fuck that. Hopefully you're integral whole. Hopefully. But I have a lot to lose. I'm concerned for I am at the phase of life that I take into account at this phase of my life. I take into account all variables. Ain't nothing guaranteed nowadays. If you laying down with somebody, it is it there there's nothing guaranteed. I don't give a fuck if they didn't, even if they didn't mean to hurt you, or even if they didn't uh even if they didn't know. You know what I'm saying? Because if you have a previous sexual history, then unfortunately, there's a probability that you might have something. It's a probability. Okay, that's not a judgment. It's the nature of the game. If you have, and for me, since I know that, on top of the fact that people get crazy, and then your energy, yeah, I know what they're doing. Interesting. I just picked up a new way to tell what. That's fascinating. Is this how it goes? Like, as you continue on, like, I just that quick. It was like, blah. I'm like, oh, I just picked up a new way to tell. And my body told me. Interesting. Anyway, I know of, what sex and all of that. And I'm just not in a place for that. I don't have the bandwidth to be, oh, I need some money, so let me go on a date and offer services. Nope. I don't need problems. I don't need no more problems. I don't need no more crazies after me, because people got crazy bitches after them and crazy. I don't need no more of that. I'm good. I don't need, nah. Good. I'm good. So, yeah, I'm not hoeing. I'm not an escort. Not that it's anybody's business, but I'm not. But I find it fascinating that doing something legitimately, that bothers people too. This is why I say shit like this. It don't even matter, honey. They're going to have a problem with you, period. And they're going to talk, period. It don't even matter. They'll find a reason to have something to say about it, because they have already made up their mind to have a problem. So that's what they're doing. And what's sad for them is that this thing is progressively going to morph into a monstrous nightmare for all of them as they persist. I saw many of them today. They didn't know I saw them, but I did. Often I look like I'm not paying attention, especially in the public. Mm-hmm. But I be catching. I'm like, do. Saw it, journey. Right there, bitch. The same people that I've been seeing stalking me for months. This person could have moved to Louisiana and just came to visit, to help do some spells or whatever, hang out. Who knows? I don't know. Mm-hmm. Could have been a person, a previous resident where my son lived, also connected to an ex. Yeah, especially, this is nuts. It's nuts. But this thing, it ain't gonna sit nothing like how they'd hoped. This shit is over. There is no more mystery, collective. And that's what they just don't understand. A part of the power was in the fact that you didn't know, but you do, which changes the trajectory of everything.